Hi everyone, and welcome back to my channel, C'est Jackie. Thanks for coming back. Today I'm going to be doing a reflection of the year 2024. I may do a part one, part two, depending on timing, but we'll see. I always love to do the, not always love to. I started doing one last year, 2023, when, 2023 was a year that hit really hard. It was the most theater that I've ever done in my life, the most projects that I'd ever been a part of, but most importantly, it was the year that I lost my mom, and it it was an extremely hard year. And it was a year full of discoveries and of learning about myself as well as learning about others and figuring things out, figuring things out. And 2024, I don't know. It's funny. I think I went in hoping to do way more, and I felt as the year went by that I was doing less than 2023. But I just recently started writing down and mapping all of the productions that I've been a part of in 2024, and I realized no, I did a little bit more. Okay, if I'm being honest, I did a lot more in terms of the overall, um, like projects and things that I had. Like in terms of I I was a part of full productions as well as a ton of staged and dynamic readings. Dynamic just means we were moving around the stage or we were doing things that weren't just sitting at a chair and standing up, and all of that. Um, and I participated in just like a storytelling gig for a Harry Potter themed event, just random things. And yeah, this was also the year where I had a lot of great um, casts. Like there was just a lot of incredible ensemble work that was done this year. I don't want to name specific productions in case one is like, hey, how about us? Weren't we a great ensemble? Yes, you were. I mean, from the top, from the tippity top. My first production, I started with 12 Angry Jurors at Lormo Playhouse. What a show. And I ended with Undecided, a pass along play written by multiple playwrights from all over the country. I'm not sure if there were any outside of the US. And that was produced by Too Much Damn Theater. And that was the last thing I did. If you're thinking or wanting to know full productions wise, um, my last one was To Be Still by Crystal Attaway with Pipeline Playwrights. You're welcome. For those of you who are like, what is this music and why is it playing? It's classical. I love music. That's a big passion of mine as well. And something that, I discovered this year too was oh, I'm missing music. I stopped doing musicals after law school. I did a bunch of musicals, and I I was like, oh, they take so much time, and I have a voice that lends itself to alto tenor ranges, and generally, the lead characters are not alto tenors. I was just like, oh, I don't really want to do in for one musical I could do be in two or three plays. So I'd rather do that. But this year was a rediscovery of oh, no, but I really do love to sing, and I love to dance, and all three are required for musical theater: singing, dancing, and acting. And so, who knows? Maybe not. Obviously, this year I didn't do any musicals. I did a lot of plays with music, and I had to sing a lot more than I've had to sing for the last couple of years, which has been great. but maybe 2025, maybe 2026, more realistically. We'll see. We'll see. This year is also the year that I realized, I pushed past some fears and I was like, okay, I really do want to pursue this thing called acting and directing and being a full-time artist. And I need to go outside of the DC, Maryland, Virginia area eventually. Like I need to be looking elsewhere. Like this will always be home base. This is where I will stay. This is where I will come back to, period, point blank, you know. That being said, I worked during the pandemic with a lot of theaters all over the country and all over the world. And there were a couple of theater companies who were like, "Oh, would you ever audition for us?" I was like, "Yeah, if you have lodging, if you offer lodging, then I am happy to come and do this." And so, that being said, like for all of y'all watching this video, if you have a movie production company, theater company, if you tell stories in whatever way, shape, or form, and you're able to provide some form of payment sustenance to someone, please feel free to contact me here on this video or at my email at cjackie@gmail.com. Sejaki is spelled Cestjacie. Cestjacie at gmail.com. Yes, please contact me because I'm very much looking forward to collaborating with more people. I'm hoping and praying that I'm able to do a full length film soon. There's so many stories that need to be told and that aren't being told, and I'm really here for it. And I would love, love, love to work and collaborate with you and anyone, to make those stories, to share those stories with the world and have more people know these stories. That being said, I'm also very, very, very much into classical stories, and that has been a driving passion this year. And another discovery is my passion for William Shakespeare and for classical works in general. When I mean classical works, I mean, all kinds of authors, right? Hannah Cowley, Christopher Marlowe, like all kinds of, like the Greeks, um, Euripides, Aeschylus, like what Oscar Wilde, all of these works that are in the public domain and that are, you know, let's say hundreds of years old and some more than that. I'm really passionate about and I love and I wish more people knew about some of them. Like Votes for Women by Elizabeth Robbins. If there's one I would prompt you to go read and check out about the women's suffrage movement in the UK in the early 1900s or late 1900s, please go read that play. It is such a good play, and it's an important play given the climate here in the United States, this year of 2024 and moving into 2025. And I'm very, very interested in sharing those types of stories. As well as, I always knew I loved Shakespeare, but this year I realized I really love Shakespeare. If I could be, Judy Dench wrote a book about the man who pays the bills, and Shakespeare was the one who paid her bills as an actor. I would love for that to be a reality in my life. Gosh, yeah, like I get paid to like act and to embody different characters in Shakespeare all the time. Please sign me up. Sign me up. I'm obsessed. I love so many characters in so many plays. This year I was privileged enough to be in full productions of three Shakespearean plays, which is unheard of in my career. I started off with Much Ado About Nothing and had the incredible honor of being able to portray Beatrice. Gosh, she is my spirit animal. I love her. Ever since I saw the Public Theater's rendition of an all black Much Ado About Nothing with my girl Danielle Brooks, she's not really my girl, but I would love her to be. Like, I would love to be friends with her. I was just like, wow, this is beautiful and it's so good and it's so still so real and still so black. I love this. I want to do that as well as, any other types of productions that concern the man, the legend, Shakespeare. Some roles that have been revelations this year that I was like, oh my gosh, I would love to be in a production and to play these roles. Some that I know are on my heart and that I have to do. Well, one that I discovered last year actually, but this year was the year of like really taking the steps to make it a possibility, a reality really, is Juliet. In Romeo and Juliet, I never identified with Juliet. I was always, I want to play Romeo. I've had the honor and privilege of playing Mercutio before. I've played Romeo a couple times. I love Fry Lawrence. There are a couple of other roles that I really, really enjoy. But I auditioned for Nurse this year with a theater company, though I wasn't cast. But Juliet was never one that like, screamed like Jackie or tugged at my heart until I did a reading with Valerie Canelia. For those of you who are regulars on my channel, you probably have seen her do a couple of reviews with me and other things. And after her production, where she cast me as Juliet, I was like, okay, I need to be Juliet for real. And so next year, March, April 2025 at Laura Mill Playhouse, I'm directing Romeo and Juliet, and I will be playing Juliet. Please come and check it out. It's going to be a beautiful production. I'm so, so elated with my cast and crew. I love them so, so, so much, and I cannot wait for people to see what we do. Anyhow, other roles that I discovered spoke to my soul and that I really want to be able to emulate. Top, chiefest of them all is Cleopatra in Antony and Cleopatra. I I don't know what I expected after reading that play, but and there are lots of great roles. There are other roles that I would love to play in the show, but Cleopatra, there's something about the chaos that is Cleopatra, that the oxymorons that she plays in life and love that just calls to me. She is not me. I am not her. I am I do not play games the way Cleopatra play games, but her intelligence and her fierceness as a leader, that woman, yes, top of the bucket list. Another that was a nice surprise and that I had never heard of. When we talk about people of color in Shakespeare, we often, only hear about Othello, right? Chiefly and mainly. And then sometimes we hear about the Prince of Moor in The Merchant of Venice, right? And that's about it. But Aaron the Moor in Titus Andronicus is a legend. I would love to play Aaron the Moor. He is so interesting as a villain in terms of he's a villain, clearly, in Titus Andronicus, but the beauty of when he is introduced to his child and the way that he wants to rear and raise his child and care for his child and love his child is beautiful. And I love that you see these different facets, this scheming and manipulative and kind of not so kind human, but also this loving father. It hits. It hits. Would love to play him. Let's make it happen. Let's make it happen. I also had the privilege and honor this year of doing a stage reading of Macbeth, and where I was given the role of Macbeth. And then I was an understudy for Macbeth at Chesapeake Shakespeare Company this fall, late fall, October, November. Though I never got to go on for that production, and you know, it's something that needs to be done. Like I want to play that role. It's more likely that I'll play Lady Macbeth or some other roles. Like I love the witches. First Witch, Lady Macduff, um, one of the assassins and all that. I love that track. I'll be happy, more than happy to do that track. But there's something about Macbeth and his journey from start to finish that I haven't yet been satisfied in terms of portrayals, and I would love to have the opportunity to sink my teeth to do that, to really, be able to portray that. Other roles in Shakespeare land that, have spoken out to me, I think it will come to nobody's surprise, the Duke of Gloucester, aka Richard. He starts in the Henrys plays, and then we see him in Richard III. Not to be mistaken with Richard II, two very different Richards. But he's the Duke of Gloucester in the Henry plays, and then he ends up taking over as Richard III. And I love, love, love his journey through history, as well as that play. Richard III is one that is beautiful, 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 beautiful. And it's not unheard of. The public did a performance of this with oh my gosh, now totally gonna forget the name, but Danai Gurira. She's from that show. The I haven't never watched. I'm so sorry, but The Walking Dead. She's from The Walking Dead, and she's a playwright herself, and she got to play Richard III, and she did a wonderful job. It's if you're curious to watch it, it should be on PBS, and so I would love to have a chance to sink my teeth into that. And last but not least, just to wrap this conversation up about Shakespeare, I would love to sink my teeth into Hamlet. This was one of the last virtual readings we did with my group this winter, and I, for the first time, played Hamlet from the beginning of the play all the way to the end. We did a virtual performance, so it's not just a reading. We really like acted, and I realized this is probably the most challenging play and role I've ever done. There's so much to mind. There's so many choices that one can make, and I don't think. I think a lot of the choices are right and are fine, and work. It just depends on what story you're trying to tell. And I would love to have a director who has a really strong vision work with me, and yeah, have me as their Hamlet. I think that would be incredible. Of course, I would love to do the full thing. We managed to do it in 4 hours, again, from beginning to end, cutting nothing. Which, for those of you screaming, 4 hours! Believe it or not, that is not. Usually it lasts longer than that. Shakespeare can be very long-winded and can last longer than 4 hours. And Hamlet is one of his longest plays, so doing it in 4 hours is an incredible feat. I'm very proud of us. Very proud of us. But yes, moving on from Shakespeare, other things in 2024. Um, I realized that it's so easy sometimes to spread negativity and pessimism and, just all of the like the bad juju, the bad stuff that's happening to us, against others, that we see, that we witness, that we receive. It's too easy for us to absorb it and then release it back into the world. And I want to be a spirit of light. I want to be a spirit of hope. I want to be a spirit of love. And I am trying very hard. Of course, I'm only human. And like any human, sometimes I get mad, sometimes I get, sad, sometimes I get all types of negative emotions. But I'm trying my hardest to not absorb as much of that pessimism and negativity, and to expulse, to share more light, love, and joy with people. And that's something that, in the latter half of 2024, I consciously began to think about and was like, okay, when interacting with certain people who, sometimes I'm like, oh God, I don't want to talk to this person, right, right. But I was like, how can I be a spirit of light and love to this person, regardless of how, they make me feel? It's been a challenge, friends, but it's one that I'm tackling and that I continue to tackle and try my best. I've also tried to be more intentional. I realized that as my passion for the arts has grown, a little reminder that I started really, putting the pedal to the metal in terms of my vocation as an actor in the summer of 2021. And from then on, I've been doing, you know, a million productions a year, as you can notice. And as I do more and more and more, I have less and less and less time to spend with my family and my friends. And quality time is something that, is one of my love languages, and I know it's the love language of many people that are in my life. And so I've been trying to be more intentional to make the time to spend with them, whether it's, being on the phone talking with them, or being on Zoom to chat, video chat, or sending a message, or going out to do some kind of activity together, like being intentional. And I hope to continue with this intentionality into 2025. And it's the hope and the dream. Yes. In terms of health, I feel like, you know, I had flesh eating bacteria at the winter 2017, and lost the ability to stand, walk, you know, do a lot of things. And I had to go through rehab and years and years and years of recuperating and like getting back to not normal, because normal doesn't really exist anymore. Like my body will never be the body that it was pre 2017, pre flesh eating bacteria, because I had 11 surgeries, and my right side, between part of my pelvis and my back, is rigid and is like stone. And so it's very hard to, like, I'm not as balanced as I was. I was equally balanced on the right side versus the left, and I'm no longer. Like, my left side is heavier than my right. But this year I found more movement. I found more ability to do things. I've done some combat stuff where I was like, ooh, I can move that way. Oh, maybe I can be in Woman King too. Please hire me, Viola Davis. Please call me. Yeah, and so I am excited to keep pushing myself and hopefully get to a better physical um, place so that I can be the action star as well as, the romantic lead and any other star I want to be. And so I want to do more dancing in 2025. I want to do more moving in 2025. 2024 was, quite a sedentary year with lots of sitting down for, um, I'm still a teacher, so all my teaching, all my classes, as well as for a lot of virtual performances, lots of sitting down. And I want to do less of that. Thankfully, I did, some outdoor theater this year in 2024 and some other theater that made me move. And that was wonderful. And I hope to continue that into 2025. I was able to go on a trip this year. I went to the Dominican Republic with my friend Amber, and it was an incredible trip. I still have to do a review of the hostel, the resort, and I will. I'll do a full review with pictures, videos, breaking down everything about the place. It was a wonderful resort. It wasn't perfect, but it was wonderful. There was lots and lots of great things to like mine and talk about when it comes to that. And it was a great moment of rest. I got sick during the trip. Wild, I caught a cold in 70, 80-degree weather. What? Anyway, but it was good because when you are nonstop, when you are going, because that's who I am as a human, and that's also like how I move. I am a Shinkansen. I'm a TGV. I've been using that metaphor a lot lately. I am a fast-moving train. I'm an Acela. I go and I don't stop almost ever. And so taking that moment to stop and to breathe and to be sick in my hotel room for 24 hours, absolutely nothing but watch crime shows in Espanol was beautiful. It was wonderful. The Dominican also, gave me a lot of confidence in my Spanish. I was like, I mean, I know that I'm fluent in the language, but sometimes you really have to test it out, right? When you have to speak Spanish most of the day and use vocabulary that you don't always use. It was great. It was a great push. Lots of other tourists were from Latin America, so I really, really, really got pushed in terms of my Spanish. And I was like, oh, yo entiendo todo, puedo hablar de todo, casi, 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 ¿ok? Hay cosas, por supuesto, que no puedo, que no puedo decir, ¿ok? Pero al mismo tiempo está bien. As a teacher, I think I've tried to re-add the joy and love of, teaching and getting results. And I've been very, very blessed, and I hope to continue to be a better teacher and a patient teacher with all my students to really help them achieve whatever goals they have. Yeah. Where was I? Who knows? Anywho, 2024 was a year of a lot of great opportunities, meeting a lot of beautiful humans, making incredible friendships stronger, old friendships stronger, and new friendships with people that have been really great. Starting to dip into the dating pool, back into the dating pool. It is still a hot mess out there, hot mess express. Dating apps are not for me. They're terrible. They're trash, but they're the best way to meet a lot of people quickly and to talk to people. So, I do what I have to. Um, it's been a good year of like making connections with people and like figuring out who I am and what I want and being a lot more flexible, I think, in my thinking of what a great partnership is. And I'm really looking forward to finding that man who will be my husband. um, I look forward to meeting him. Hi, if you're watching this, husband. We're gonna have such an incredible marriage, I promise you, and we're gonna be such great partners. It's gonna be beautiful. Yes, and we need to start on babies very soon. Just FYI. Yeah, just, managing expectations. um, yeah. One of the things, it's been a year of going back to my love of books. I haven't read a lot of books, as in like books, but I've read a ton of plays, like about hundreds of plays, if not more, during the year. But I started, reading about books and accumulating. I'm in my book dragon era where I am keeping all the books. And so I'm really excited for when I get to actually read these books. Um, I've also, this is the year where, some fears have come back that I had dispelled whilst I had flushing bacteria and was like recuperating. Like I'd let go of a lot of fears because I was like, I almost died. What can you be afraid of? And then, as the years pass by, you start to forget the lessons that you have learned during a traumatic event. And all of the old fears come back. And I've definitely felt that. But this year has been another year of like putting things into perspective and rethinking things and rethinking like what is it that I want? Where is it that I want to go? What is it that I want to do? And there are a lot of things that I want to do and where I want to go. Like I want to be an A-list actor, period, point blank, à la lettre. I want to be telling all kinds of stories. I want to be working constantly. I want to be meeting incredible people and making beautiful connections. I want to be connecting with people, people in my life as well as people outside of my life, um, whether it's through storytelling, through teaching, through whatever. Yeah. Uh, yeah, it's been wonderful time of discovery for that as well. Que otra cosa of 2024? I mean, 2024 was hard in many ways. I think I had hoped to work at one of the bigger theaters, this year, but frankly speaking, I did miss not working at one of the larger theaters in the area because I was having so much fun with all of the different groups and theaters that I did work with this year. And it was a nice mix of professional theater and community theater. In the end, I ended up doing more professional than community theater. I got paid more. And I think this year I need to like do the math, but I think I got paid more this year than I did last year as an actor, even though I wasn't working with any of the top six professional theaters in the area, but it didn't matter. I made a lot of great connections with people. I forged a lot of great bonds. Clarity. There was a lot more clarity. There was a lot more purpose this year of 2024 where I was like, oh, this is what I want to do. This is where I want to go. And this is how I need to do it. And I need a support system. I need a community. I need a group. I need people behind me. I've loved seeing how Black women have shown up for each other in my life as well as in the nation and in the world. Like I have loved this movement, and I'm really here for this movement. And I hope as women keep being there for ourselves as well as for each other. I think that's beautiful, and that's the way we win. I always say the only way we win is together. I teach that in my negotiations class, and I truly believe that. And I hope, I my wish for 2025 is that we all, as a human race, start to believe that, so that we can fight for the things that we need, the essential things that we need, right? Which are what? Food, right? Shelter, health. We should have these things on lock, all of us. It should be free or close to free, right, for all of us. Like it should be affordable for all of us. We should be able to eat, right? To survive. We should be able to have lodging where we can be away from like the weather is insane and only getting worse. We need lodging to, you know? And three, we need healthcare. Healthcare, that system that works for us and that cares about us and our bodies in all moments of our lives. Yeah, yeah. Um, so yeah, I may do another reflection later. I always say this always. Last year was the first time. I said it last year and I didn't do it. Probably won't do it this year either. Do a second one. Um, but 2025, I hope and I pray again for equity for all of us, for justice, for love, for hope, for peace, for all of us. I hope 2025 is an incredible year, even with all our fears. Um, 2024 was also a year of heartache. I lost some really good friends, people who I uh, I thought of them as very good friends, um, and I held them very dearly in my heart. And I'm sad that they decided to, because ultimately they were the ones. And of course, in negotiation and mediation, we always talk about this. There's story, there's the first person story, there's the second person story, and somewhere in the middle, somewhere, there's the truth. Um, I know that from my point of view, my biased point of view, they were the ones who sabotaged our friendship and our relationship. And I know that, you know, if they had been mature enough, if they had been honest enough to really talk to me and own up to what they did, we would still be friends today. Because I'm not a vindictive person. I'm not a person who holds onto grudges. I hate grudges. Like of my siblings, you can ask any of them. I don't have the energy nor the time to keep grudges because grudges in the end attack you and make you feel terrible and worse and um at the end, like the person who you have a grudge on doesn't know that you know you, you have a grudge on them, so what's the point? So I just, yeah, for my soul, for my heart, I try not to hold on to grudges. um but I do know that, yeah, I love them and I'm sometimes still miss them, which sucks, but c'est la vie, and that's just me being honest. um and I also know, I don't just talk about things, I want to be about things, and reconciliation is something that I always have a space for in my life and in my heart. And so, you know, I never say never. Just because we're not friends right now and we don't talk right now doesn't mean that there isn't a space for that to happen in the future. And I hope in 2025 maybe we'll find that space. Okay. I'm going to close out these reflections of the year 2024 with a poem that I did, I think back in 2020 or 2021 during the pandemic. I can't remember now, which is wild. But this year of 2024, we lost a poetess named Nikki Giovanni. And she did a poem called Ego Tripping. There may be a reason why. And I did an interpretation of that poem for this event that I created for theater called Monologues of Black Authors. And I just want to bring this back because in honor of her, in honor of my ancestors, in honor of my mom, in honor of Black women, in honor of all of my family and friends, in honor of you, in honor of human beings. Here's Ego Tripping. There may be a reason why. I was born in the Congo. I walked to the Fertile Crescent and built the Sphinx. I designed a pyramid so tough that a star that only glows every 100 years falls into the center, giving divine perfect light. I am bad. I sat on the throne, drinking nectar with Allah. I got hot and sent an ice age to Europe to cool my thirst. My oldest daughter is Nefertiti. The tears from my birth pains created the Nile. I am a beautiful woman. I gazed on the forest and burned out the Sahara Desert with a packet of goat's meat and a change of clothes. I crossed it in 2 hours. I'm a gazelle so swift, you can't catch me. For a birthday present, when he was 3, I gave my son Hannibal an elephant. He gave me Rome for Mother's Day. My strength flows ever on. My son Noah built Newark, and I stood proudly at the helm as we sailed on a soft summer day. I turned myself into myself and was Jesus. Men intone my loving name. All praises, all praises. I am the one who would say. I sow diamonds in my backyard. My bowels deliver uranium. The filings from my fingernails are semi-precious jewels. On a trip north, I caught a cold and blew my nose giving oil to the Arab world. I am so hip, even my errors are correct. I sailed west to reach east and had to round off the earth as I went. The hair from my head thinned and gold was laid across 3 continents. I am so perfect, so divine, so ethereal, so surreal. I cannot be comprehended, except by my permission. I mean, I can fly like a bird in the sky. Happy 2024, everyone. Thank you for an incredible year full of so many blessings. And may the blessings keep flowing and growing in 2025. Bye. Please let me know in the comments below your reflections if you have any. Send me videos, send me comments. Please keep watching my channel. I would love that. I would love if you stay in connection and in touch with me. And I would love to keep connecting, staying in touch, building together, growing together, learning together, loving together. Take care of yourselves. Can't live without good health. Okay? And see you into the new year, 2025. Woo. Merci tellement à vous tous. Merci pour m'avoir suivi dans cette année de 2024. J'espère vous voir en 2025. J'espère qu'on on pourra rester en contact, hein, se connecter vraiment. Et dites-moi dans les commentaires vos pensées, tout. Ouais. Dites-moi ce que vous voulez. Euh, Vos pensées sur l'année 2024, vos pensées sur l'année 2025 à venir, vos, vos rêves, etc., etc. Comment est-ce que je peux vous aider? Et oui, j'ai hâte de continuer avec vous sur YouTube et dans la vie aussi, euh, ensemble. Muchísimas gracias, muchas gracias por todo, todo, todo. Uh, por favor, dime lo que usted piense de de este año 2024 y del año que viene 2025, de, de sus sueños, de sus pensamientos, de todo, de todo, de todo, de todo. En el chat, ¿ok? En los comentarios. Y espero que este nuevo año estará un año maravilloso para todos. ¿Ok? Ok. He hablado demasiado, quizás, o mucho, o quizás no, no sé. Usted puede decirme, pero hasta pronto. Chao.